I have a skin disorder that destroys the pigmentation of the skin. It's something that I cannot help, okay? But it's in my family. My father said it's on his side. I can't control it. I don't understand. I mean, it makes me very sad.
In the beginnings of the vitiligo started happening relatively early. You know, he even was trying to hide it from me. He tried to hide it for quite a while. You know, he'd always try to cover with makeup and even out his skin tone and everything until it just got so extensive. I mean, it's all over his body. We were always trying to hide it and cover it for the longest time until he just had to tell Oprah and tell the world, listen, I'm not trying to be white. I have a skin disease. You know, in the beginning, I tried to cover the light spots to the darkest part of his skin, but then it became so extensive that we had to go with the lighter part of his skin because his whole body was reacting. He'd have to be in complete, full body makeup every inch of his body, you know, so it was easier to make the transition to him being to the lighter shade.
What is vitiligo?
It's a loss of pigment cells, and the pigment cells, for every 36 normal cells in your body, you have one pigment cell pumping pigment into them. Unfortunately, it's an autoimmune disease, and lupus is an autoimmune disease, and they sometimes go together because you make antibodies against your pigment cells.
Did Michael have it?
Absolutely. We biopsy.
What causes it?
You're caused by your immune system, and your immune system destroying your pigment cells.
Do black people have it more than white people?
No, but it's just more visible on black people because they have a dark skin. The other thing is, it certainly occurs with a family history, and I believe one of Michael's relatives did in fact have vitiligo.
How bad was his?
Well, his was bad because he began to get a totally speckled look of his body. And
all over his body?
All over his body, but on his face, significantly on his hands, which are very difficult to treat.
So let's clear up something. He was not someone desirous of being white.
No. Michael was black. He was very proud of his black heritage. He changed the world for black people. So
how do you treat vitiligo?
Well, I mean, there's certain treatments. You have one choice where you can use certain drugs called soylents and ultraviolet light treatments to try to make the white spots turn dark, or his became so severe that the easier way is to use certain creams that will make the dark spots turn light so you can even out the pigment.
So your decision there was he would go light?
Well, yeah, that's ultimately what the decision had to be because there was too much vitiligo to deal with.
Otherwise, he would have looked ridiculous.
Well, you can't. He would have to wear heavy makeup on stage. It would be ridiculous, and he couldn't really go out in public without looking terribly peculiar.
And did his color change a lot over the years?
No, I mean, because once we got the color more uniform, it remained stable, but you still had to treat it because once in a while, and he had to also be extraordinarily careful with sun exposure because there are a lot of things, and that's via the umbrellas all the time. Because he had blotches, but we evened out almost all of them. But he was very, very devoted to treating it. I mean, he wanted to look well. He wanted to look well for one group of people, his fans. He wanted to embrace and love his fans more than any performer I've ever known.